Herbert Henry Asquith, 1852–1928, was a prominent British statesman, lawyer, and leader of the Liberal Party who served as the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom from 1908 to 1916. Known for his leadership during a transformative period in British politics, Asquith played a key role in the enactment of numerous important reforms and guided the country through the early stages of World War I. His tenure in office was marked by significant social changes, political battles, and challenges, both domestically and abroad. Early life and education. Herbert Henry Asquith was born on September 12, 1852, in the town of Croft, Yorkshire, England. He was the son of Joseph Asquith, a prosperous mill owner, and his wife, Elizabeth, a member of a prominent Yorkshire family. Asquith's early life was shaped by his upbringing in a comfortable, middle-class environment. His father's wealth allowed him to attend some of the best educational institutions. He was educated at the prestigious City of London School before going on to study at Balliol College, Oxford, where he read classics. At Oxford, Asquith was not only an excellent scholar but also began to develop a reputation for his oratory skills. His time at university was marked by involvement in political debates, which helped shape his future career in politics. Early career and entry into politics. After graduating from Oxford in 1874, Asquith pursued a career in law. He became a barrister at the Inner Temple, and his career in law proved to be highly successful. Asquith's early legal work centered around civil and criminal law, and he quickly gained a reputation for his ability to handle complex cases with skill and eloquence. In 1886, Asquith made his first foray into politics, running as a Liberal candidate for the seat of East Fife in Scotland. He won the seat and became a Member of Parliament, MP, at the age of 34. His political career grew steadily, and he quickly made a name for himself as a gifted orator and an effective advocate for the Liberal Party. Political rise. Asquith's rise in politics coincided with the leadership of the Liberal Party by William Ewart Gladstone, one of the most important political figures in Britain during the 19th century. Asquith's political philosophy was deeply rooted in the principles of liberalism, and he advocated for individual freedoms, economic reform, and social justice. In 1892, he was appointed as Home Secretary in the government of Prime Minister Gladstone. This was a pivotal moment in Asquith's political career, as it gave him the opportunity to influence government policy on domestic issues. During his time as Home Secretary, Asquith played a key role in the establishment of labor reforms, including the improvement of working conditions for women and children. In 1905, Asquith became Chancellor of the Exchequer under Prime Minister Sir Henry Campbell Bannerman. As Chancellor, Asquith pushed for significant social reforms, including the implementation of pensions for the elderly and reforms to the education system. His policy agenda aligned with the growing progressive movement in Britain, and his ability to balance the interests of different social groups helped solidify his position within the Liberal Party. Prime Ministership, 1908 to 1916. In 1908, after the resignation of Prime Minister Campbell Bannerman, Asquith succeeded him as leader of the Liberal Party and became the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. His tenure as Prime Minister was marked by significant domestic reforms, as well as challenges arising from the global political climate and the looming threat of war. Domestic reforms. As Prime Minister, Asquith pursued a reform agenda that sought to address the growing social inequalities in Britain. One of his major achievements was the introduction of the People's Budget in 1909, which sought to raise taxes on the wealthy to fund social welfare programs, including health and unemployment benefits. The budget was a bold proposal, and it caused a major political confrontation with the House of Lords, which rejected it. The conflict over the budget eventually led to the Parliament Act of 1911, which reduced the power of the House of Lords and made it clear that the elected House of Commons would have the final say on major legislation. Asquith also oversaw the implementation of other significant social reforms, including the introduction of old age pensions in 1908 and the National Insurance Act in 1911, which provided for health and unemployment benefits. These reforms helped lay the foundation for the modern welfare state in Britain. World War I. Asquith's leadership was tested during World War I, which began in 1914. Britain entered the war in response to the German invasion of Belgium, and Asquith's government was initially successful in rallying the nation to support the war effort. However, as the war dragged on and casualties mounted, Asquith's leadership came under increasing scrutiny. The war created significant domestic challenges, and the government struggled to meet the demands of both the military and the civilian population. Asquith's leadership during the war was criticized for its lack of coordination and preparation, particularly in the early years of the conflict. In 1915, after a series of military setbacks, Asquith formed a coalition government, bringing in members of the Conservative Party to help manage the war effort. Despite these efforts, Asquith's political position continued to weaken, and by 1916, he was replaced by David Lloyd George as Prime Minister. Later life and legacy. After his resignation as Prime Minister in 1916, Asquith retired from active politics but remained involved in public life. He was appointed to the Order of Merit and served in the House of Lords as an Earl. He continued to write and lecture on political issues and reflected on his time in office. Herbert Henry Asquith passed away on February 15, 1928, at the age of 75. His legacy as a reformist leader remains significant in the history of the British Liberal Party and the development of the welfare state. His domestic reforms, particularly in the areas of social welfare and labour rights, had a lasting impact on British society. However, his leadership during World War I is often seen as a failure, and his role in the early years of the war remains a subject of debate.
Thank you for watching. Please subscribe our channel.